Hey everyone, it's Ryan Leonard with Wolfnest Property Management, and today we're talking about a great topic, something that I go over a lot with current clients and also prospective clients. It's remodeling your rental property. What are some things that you would recommend? Or hey, I'm thinking about gutting the whole place. So let's take a look at really some of the input I would recommend if you are looking to renovate your rental property. So not all the time are we going to recommend breaking down walls or doing the HGTV complete remodel on that investment property, because really for two reasons. Cost of materials are really expensive right now. Also, the trades or general contractors that you need to do that work are typically booked out for months. So the last thing you want to have happen is you have a brand new property or a property that becomes vacant, and you start that process. All of a sudden, it's sitting vacant for 3 months and costing you a lot of money. So what I always like to recommend is some things that are a little bit more quick fixes that you're going to see in immediate ROI or return on the investment. So one of the first things I always recommend, super easy, replacing door handles. Now this is for the interior of the home, but also you can update the door handles or for the exterior as well, like the main entrance into the home. Upgrading it to a smart lock or a digital lock is a great way that to kind of appeal to those younger crowds or justify a little bit higher rent, because there is no key. You just have a key code, which makes it really easy for tenants, and again kind of adds a little bit tech to that property. But as far as the interior goes, yeah, good chances, depending on how old the home is. You may have that old kind of brass or they're dinged up. Going with like a brushed nickel or black is really a cool way to get that property a little bit more up to date. But also, if the door handles aren't locking, this is always a great feature. Have a locking door for a bedroom or for a bathroom. Tenants always going to look at that. So next one is upgrading lighting fixtures. This is another good one. So many properties, maybe from 1940 to even the 1900s here in Utah. So by upgrading some lighting fixtures, this can either be a small task or a big task, something you can do yourself, or you may need to bring an electrician if it requires moving a light or installing can lights. Those are always great things to do. But getting rid of those, overhead kind of reminds me of high school or middle school type lighting. Get rid of those. Update even the kind of the dome lights that you see in a lot of newer builds. If you can put a nice clean lighting fixture in there, it's going to help show the property in the best light possible, and again justify a little bit better rent. So lighting fixtures, quick fix to make that property look a little bit newer. Now, this is one I recommend to all of our clients. Applying a fresh coat of paint. Now, this is something that you can do yourself, or you can have a painting company come out. But having a fresh coat of paint, it just makes the property feel brand new. Also, from a documentation standpoint, having a freshly painted home in the interior is a great way to hold tenants accountable for damage, because if there's no damage to the walls when they move in, it's very easy to hold them accountable for any nail holes or holes in the wall that we find at move out. If there's 20 nail holes when they move in and then there's 25 when they move out, we can't really hold them accountable for that. But again, having a fresh coat of paint is going to justify higher rents, make the home feel new, and also for documentation purposes, I love it. Now, I talk to a lot of clients who are like, okay, those are great, suggestions, but I've got money burning a hole in my pocket and I really want to, do more of a complete renovation, or, I want to get my hands dirty and, spice something up. So what do you recommend I do? If you are looking at, again, spending some money or upgrading a part of the home, there's really two areas that I always like to recommend. Now, the first one is the kitchen. When tenants are looking at prospective properties, the kitchen is where they're going to spend a lot of their time, whether they're hosting guests or family or spending the holidays or just every single day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. The kitchen is really something that is going to draw most tenants and really justify higher rent. So if you are looking at doing some work to the kitchen, first thing is update the flooring, right? If it's old tile or laminate, updating the flooring is a great way to make that kitchen feel new again, but also kind of up to the times, right? There's nothing worse than just that old or rolled out laminate flooring. There's just nothing worse. Painting the cabinets, that old school kind of oak wood finish. that's not typically the best look, but a simple paint or stain on those cabinets is a great way to bring out that wood, or again, make it feel a little bit more up to date. Upgrading the appliances. Making sure that when you upgrade appliances, you're doing it for everything, and make sure that the colors match. If you're going with a matte black or stainless steel on the refrigerator, you probably want to update the other appliances so that they match. Looks really good in photos, and again, appliances are great, especially when they have been nude. It's going to or haven't been used. It's going to justify higher rents. The next one is the bathroom, in particular the master bath, right? If mom and dad are paying the rent, or whoever's paying rent, they're probably going to have the master, and having that ensuite be updated is, again, a great upsell, and is usually going to make them sign that lease. So again, bathrooms, another good thing to look at. Upgrading shower heads, that's easy. Replacing the countertops with granite, retiling the tub or shower. Those are all things that honestly you can do yourself. Another thing I like to recommend that's not on there is updating the vanity. A lot of times the vanity is probably the one that came with the home, or it's really, really old. You can find some really cool vanities that will have, the sink, the bowl actually already in there, and you can kind of get a modern, type sink for that bathroom. So again, kitchens and bathrooms are the ones I would recommend. So again, here's just some tips. There's our website. There's my phone number. If you want to discuss one of your properties or even schedule a walkthrough, I'd be happy to come by, make some recommendations, or even put together some bids for you. So again, Ryan with Wolfnest, and hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.